Yeah, 24/7 I crave the 8, 'cause the ale never fails, and I can't wait to pop the top on one. So don't hesitate, you gotta go full throttle for the green glass bottle. Yeah, pop the top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1, gotta grab the one. Drink an ale 8-1, pop the top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1, gotta grab the one. Yeah, savor the flavor, it just won't quit. We got the drink that some people just don't get, but I do, and I can't get enough of it. You gotta go full throttle for the green glass bottle. Yeah, pop the top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1, gotta grab the one. Drink an ale 8-1, pop the top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1, gotta grab the one. Drink an ale 8-1.
My adventures with L8 became a point of interest for me during the summer of 2011. My hometown became the center of Kentucky-ness for nearly 2,000 Latin students from across the nation. While they were here, we tried to put forth the best impression of Kentucky-ness we could. During the Kentucky Festival Day, we set up booths and entertainment that represented our state. I ended up spending the day working the L8 bins, and encountered many questioning people from other states wondering what the heck this drink was. The many questions I found myself having to answer took more thought than I would have anticipated, and led to my choice not only to investigate L8, but also the reasons why we so closely connected with Kentucky as a state. L8 started out in Winchester, Kentucky, and was created by G.L. Wainscott. Wainscott ran into some trouble selling his Coke taste-alike, and eventually went adventuring for a new recipe. He found one in Northern Europe that he liked, and began making it in Winchester in 1926. The recipe for L8 is closely guarded, with ginger, citrus, and caffeine as the only noted ingredients.
Ale8, the unbridled drink of Kentucky. But why is this ordinary yet very different drink Kentucky's favorite?
Ale8 is delicious and cool and refreshing.
It's a good regional favorite, so it's a fun thing to have when we're around.
I think it's just an acquired taste. I love it. I mean, I grew up on it.
I'd say it's like ginger ale, but with a kick. My name's Fielding Rogers. I'm the president of the Ale8 Bottling Company. I think Ale8's particularly good, I think, because of the flavoring that we have. We take a very great amount of pride in order to make our product very high quality. So we do a lot of quality testing. We also use pure sugar in a sweetener blend. So we have a blend of corn syrup and sugar. And I think that really provides a much cleaner, crisper, and more naturally sweet taste. So Ale8 does have a secret ingredient. We call it the secret recipe. I can't really tell you any details about it, other than the fact that I think my father and I are the only two people still alive that have personally made it. It's a very closely guarded secret. We have a room in the factory. We make it all ourselves. But it's a very potent, very flavorful ingredient. Blend it all together, and it makes Ale8 taste different from all other soft drinks. So the Ale8 company first started off by a man named G.L. Wainscott. G.L. Wainscott first made Ale8 just, I believe, in his own lab. Here in Winchester, Kentucky, they were located downtown before this facility existed. And he was really kind of a flavor genius. He knew kind of what he liked, what other people liked. He first got the ideas from traveling around Northern Europe. He got a bunch of different samples, a lot of different flavors of a bunch of different ginger-based sodas. He tested those, experimented with them, tweaked them in a lot of different ways, and then ended up picking the Ale8 formula as the one he liked.
L8 is connected to the culture of Kentucky in other ways than just being made here, though. Over the years, tales have been told about L8, and many of them I remember being told as a child growing up in Kentucky. The one I hated most was when an adult would ask me if I enjoyed drinking that Kentucky swamp water. Being disgusted at first, I reasoned that it couldn't possibly be swamp water, but for the longest time, I still feared that it might be true and hesitated before drinking L8 again. One that I can now identify with is the story that the reason the drink is called L8-1 is because it has so much caffeine in it, where normal ginger ale has none. The story is that it got its name because college students in Kentucky would stay up all night long studying for some exam and needed L8 to stay awake. I certainly now see how believable that story really is.
The name Ale8 came from a Name the Product contest in 1926. It's kind of an interesting story. The founder had the Ale8 formula, the flavor, the product he wanted to make, but no name for it. So he had a Name the Product contest at the county fair, and a young girl, I believe she was 14, there are conflicting reports of her age, suggested it be coined A Late One, meaning the latest thing. That was punned down to ale number 8, number 1.
People are social creatures. They love interacting with fellow humans, whether it's in camaraderie or competition. People always want to be part of groups, whether these groups involve religion, politics, sports, or nationality. Food and drink are just some of the ways that these people compete against each other and identify themselves with their group. Groups of people often express their affiliations with symbols which represent their group's merits and beliefs. I believe that L8 plays a firm role as one of these symbols, and that it is a part of the reason why L8 is so popular in Kentucky. Every year at the National Junior Classical League Convention, each state brings their delegation of Latin students to a single location where they compete against each other. The competition is not limited to just individual Latin prowess, however. No, oftentimes competition between states is fierce and quickly becomes a point of either great pride or great ridicule. For example, Illinois has a tendency to be called by Kentucky the overly competitive Ludi guys, or, in simpler terms, douchebags. But why would Kentucky hate Illinois? Well, they have in the past tried to steal a symbol of Kentucky. They claimed Abraham Lincoln. Symbols of a state are always regarded highly by the citizens of that state, which is where L8 comes in. L8 is one of the symbols of Kentucky. No other state can lay any claim on L8, just like how no other state can lay claim to having the greatest college basketball team. L8's advertisers know this and even capitalize on it in their commercials.
24/7 I crave the 8, 'cause the ale never fails. I can't wait to pop a top on one, so don't hesitate. You gotta go full throttle for the 3-glass bottle. Pop a top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1. Gotta grab a one. Drink an ale 8-1. Pop a top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1. Gotta grab a one.
Celebrating sports in Kentucky's not just a tradition. It's an event. Whether you're celebrating at home, at the arena, or out with friends, complete the experience with L81. L81 is the final touch for an authentic Kentucky gathering. Don't settle for national brands. Keep it local. We've been around for more than 80 years and we're here to stay. If you crave the 8, ask for it. And diet L8 wherever soft drinks are sold. L81 is the official soft drink of 92.9 The Bear.
Pop a top on fun. Grab an ale 8-1. Gotta grab a one.
Everything about this commercial creates a deep sense of Kentucky-ness. You are urged to keep things local and to shun those national brands. Country music plays while a man whose deep, twangy voice inspires thoughts of farming mentions L8 in connection with Kentucky sports and traditions. And what authentic Kentucky gathering would be complete without Kentucky's soft drink, right? Perhaps the designers of this commercial knew that even if some customers were not sure how they felt about L8, they were sure about how they felt about living in Kentucky. Kentuckians who are loyal to great Kentucky traditions such as basketball will enjoy the idea of supporting a local community and having pride in their state. Okay, Rose. So when I say Kentucky, What do you think of?
Bluegrass,
Continue.
horses, fields,
Horses, tobacco farms, lots of rolling hills, UK basketball, of course. Let's see what else. As far as food,
Horses, school. I don't know, I'm already out.
UK basketball, tobacco, bourbon, chicken, horses.
and the University of Kentucky, more horses, fried chicken, even though I've been a vegetarian for about 10 years.
KFC, obviously. Hot brown, L8. Let's see, bourbon, lots of bourbon and distilleries and all that jazz. Bourbon balls, Derby pie.
No. More horses. Farmland again, fences, fields, again, the country. L8.
I think the key that has made L8 strong in this area is customer service. We want to make sure that it tastes the same every single time you get a bottle. We want to make sure that the customers that we service, the retailers that sell it, always have a good supply of it on the shelf. And it's also brand image. I think people take a lot of pride in knowing it's a locally produced product you can get right here, made right here in Central Kentucky, and that you can drive down the interstate and see us right here on I-64.
The governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Paul E. Patton, proclaimed July 13, 2001 as Ale-8-1 Day, ensuring evermore that Ale-8-1 is the official drink of Kentucky. But the Ale-8 company doesn't stop there.
So Ale-8's been in existence since 1926. Our first new product in the Ale-8 line was in 2003 with the introduction of Diet Ale-8. So with that, we've also expanded out into a couple of other side brands, which are Ale-8 Salsa. It's a Kentucky Proud product. It's made with Kentucky-grown tomatoes and peppers, and it actually contains Ale-8 concentrate. So there's a sweet variety and a spicy variety, both of which have Ale-8 concentrate, and the sweet variety actually contains Ale-8. I eat it regularly. It's not that hard to go through an entire jar of Ale-8 salsa. Other than that, we also have Ale-8 Suckers. Those are made by Ruth Hunt Candies, right next door in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. So they take Ale-8 concentrate, the true flavoring of Ale-8, and they mix that up with their ingredients to make authentic Ale-8 Suckers.